I stood in the center of the celebration banquet, holding the admission letter to Tsinghua and Peking University, when Jiang Yu snatched the microphone from the stage. He was the top academic achiever in the city, holding the same admission qualification. Yet at that moment, he addressed the entire hall of teachers and students. I give up Tsinghua and Peking University. Next year, I will accompany Lin Weiwei in retaking the college entrance exam. Her family is poor, and if she fails the exam, she will have no way out. As his words fell, everyone's gaze turned toward me. Lin Weiwei's eyes instantly welled up with tears, and she tugged at my wrist, whispering softly, "Sister, don't blame brother Jiang Yu. I can handle this myself." Those words were like a shackle, instantly branding me as cold and heartless. Jiang Yu turned to look at me, his gaze firm and unyielding. "Sun Yan, we're fiancés. You should withdraw your recommendation and stay with me to accompany her." My parents hurried over, lowering their voices to urge me to agree. Not to ruin Jiang Yu's face, I shook off Lin Weiwei's hand, raised my eyes to meet Jiang Yu's gaze, my tone unwavering. "If you want to be a saint, I won't stop you, but don't drag me down to ruin my own life." Jiang Yu's face instantly turned ashen, and he scolded me publicly. "How can you be so selfish, so devoid of human kindness?" The surrounding whispers erupted, all of them criticizing me. I stared at him, each word hitting like a hammer, and the entire room fell silent in an instant. Self-pity isn't affection. Moral coercion is the real evil. No one knew that the Education Bureau would announce a major reform of the college entrance examination tomorrow. And repeating a year would be equivalent to ruining one's own future. Even fewer knew that Lin Weiwei's admission letter from a foreign university had long been lying in her bag. The private room for the celebration banquet was packed to the brim, with everyone raising their glasses to congratulate me and Jiang Yu. I held the admission confirmation letter from a top-tier university in my hand, my fingertips just about to touch the cup when Jiang Yu snatched the microphone from the table, standing at the center of the stage. His gaze fixed on Lin Weiwei behind me, his tone brimming with righteous determination. "I give up my guaranteed admission to Tsinghua and Peking University. Next year, I'll retake the college entrance exam with Weiwei. She failed the exam, and her family can't afford a private university. I can't leave her behind." The entire room fell silent in an instant, all eyes fixed squarely on me. My parents' expressions changed abruptly, and they reached out to grab my arm, trying to give Jiang Yu an out. Lin Weiwei lowered her head, her shoulders trembling slightly, and tugged at the hem of my clothes. Her voice as soft as a mosquito's buzz. "Sister, don't be angry. I can do it myself. I don't need brother Jiang Yu to accompany me." Jiang Yu immediately shielded her behind him, his gaze fixed on me filled with accusation. "Sun Yan, we are engaged, so we should face everything together. You should give up your guaranteed admission spot and join me in retaking the year with Weiwei. Next year, the three of us can take the college entrance exam together." I shook off Lin Weiwei's hand, took a step back, and looked directly at Jiang Yu. "I won't give it up." The affection on Jiang Yu's face instantly froze, and his brows furrowed deeply. "Sun Yan, how can you be so heartless? Weiwei comes from a poor family, college entrance exam is her only way out. Can't you show some understanding?" Relatives began whispering among themselves, saying I was unreasonable, ignoring our good relationship, and being too selfish. The homeroom teacher walked over, patting Jiang Yu's arm to calm him down, saying the recommendation spot was rare and he shouldn't act impulsively. Jiang Yu shook off the teacher's hand, staring at me with a threatening tone. "You must agree today, otherwise this engagement will be called off." Lin Weiwei wiped her tears, clutching Jiang Yu's arm, pleading not to pressure her sister. Yet her grip grew tighter and tighter, watching the two of them putting on such a heartfelt performance. A faint smile tugged at the corner of my lips. If the engagement is called off, so be it, but no one should even think of touching my guaranteed admission spot. Jiang Yu's face was deathly pale as he pointed at my nose, publicly scolding me for being selfish and only caring about my future. The murmurs around me grew louder, all of them blaming me. I picked up the recommendation letter on the table and turned to walk out of the private room. Jiang Yu shouted after me, saying I would regret it someday, and that I would never find someone better than him in my life. I didn't stop. Pushing open the cabin door directly, the wind outside rushed in, making the papers in my hand rustle loudly. Jiang Yu followed me out, grabbing my wrist with such force it nearly crushed my bones. You go back and apologize. Tell everyone you were just confused, and agree to repeat the year with me. I violently shook off his hand, the force causing him to stagger. Jiang Yu, get this straight, it's you who gave up your future, not me. I have no obligation to join you in this madness. He stared at me, his eyes filled with disbelief, as if I had committed some unforgivable sin. I didn't look at him again, walking straight into the elevator and pressing the close button. As the elevator doors slowly shut, I watched his furious face without a single ripple of emotion in my heart. As soon as I reached the first floor, my phone rang. It was my mom. As soon as I answered, she started yelling at me, calling me unreasonable and telling me to go back and apologize right away. I hung up the phone directly, blocked the temporary number at home, and turned to walk toward the school admissions office. Jiang Yu thought he was being deeply devoted and righteous, but it was just foolish self-indulgence. I won't play along with this act. He wants to be a saint. I won't stop him. But don't try to drag me down with him. I had just reached the entrance of the admissions office when Jiang Yu's call came in. I immediately blocked it and kept walking forward without stopping. My future has always been in my own hands. No one can hold hostage me. I had just submitted my information documents for the recommendation program at the admissions office when my phone suddenly exploded with messages. In the class group and family groups, there were long posts from Jiang Yu, every word accusing me of being cold-blooded and heartless. He said I abandoned my fiancé for the guaranteed admission spot, ignored my best friend who failed the exam, and claimed I only cared about myself, showing no sympathy at all. Lin Weiwei kept sending crying emojis in the group chat, repeatedly saying it was her fault and asking everyone not to blame me, which only made me seem more heartless. I scrolled through the messages, offered no explanation, and directly left all the irrelevant group chats. Just as I stepped out of the admissions office, Jiang Yu blocked the entrance with Lin Weiwei, followed by my parents and his parents. My mother hurried over, taking my hand with urgency in her voice. Nian Nian, quickly apologize to Jiang Yu. Promise him you'll retake the year. The admission exemption can be regained, but the engagement must not be broken. Jiang Yu's mother crossed her arms, glancing at me sideways with a sharp tone. Su Nian, it's your fortune that Jiang Yu even deigns to look at you. Don't be ungrateful. It's just giving up an admission exemption. What's so hard about spending a year studying with him? Jiang Yu stood aside, a confident look on his face, convinced that I would give in. Lin Weiwei hid behind Jiang Yu, peeking out with half her face, looking at me timidly. Sister, just agree. I really want to go to college. Brother Jiang Yu is doing this for my own good. I pulled my hand away from my mother's grip and turned to look at Jiang Yu's mother, my tone calm. Auntie, there are only a few guaranteed admission spots to Tsinghua and Peking University in the entire province. It's not something you can just give up on a whim. If your son wants to be foolish, don't drag me into it. Jiang Yu's mother's expression changed, and she raised her hand, ready to point at me and start scolding. Jiang Yu stopped her and looked at me, his tone carrying a condescending tolerance. Su Nian, I know you might not understand right now. I'll give you time. If you go to the admissions office and withdraw your application within 3 days, I'll pretend this never happened. I smiled, looking at him, and spoke slowly, word by word. I won't withdraw. Jiang Yu, give up on this idea. My father stepped forward and scolded me sharply. Su Nian, don't be ridiculous. Listen to Jiang Yu right now, or I won't have you as my daughter. The passing students stopped to watch, pointing and whispering about me. Jiang Yu looked at me, his eyes filled with smugness, thinking that I would surely compromise out of consideration for family ties. I turned to my father, my tone resolute. My life is my own to decide. If you refuse to acknowledge me, I won't force it. Jiang Yu took a step forward, closing in on me, his tone icy. Are you really going to defy everyone just for a guaranteed admission spot? It's you who are trying to hijack my life. Not me defying everyone. I tried to turn and leave, but Lin Weiwei suddenly rushed over, grabbed my arm, and begged me tearfully, "Sister, just agree already. I'll kowtow to you. Okay, don't be so heartless." I pushed her hard. She lost her balance, took a few steps back, and fell to the ground. Jiang Yu immediately rushed over, helping Lin Weiwei up, then turned to me and shouted angrily, "Sun Yan, you're so cruel. Weiwei is begging you like this, and you still push her." Lin Weiwei leaned against Jiang Yu's embrace, crying so hard she could barely catch her breath, still saying she didn't blame her sister. More and more onlookers gathered, and all the murmurs were filled with words cursing me. Watching this farce unfold before me, I felt not the slightest bit of sympathy. She couldn't keep her balance herself. It has nothing to do with me. Jiang Yu, if you keep blocking me, I'll call the police and report you for harassment. Jiang Yu's face was ashen, his eyes fixed on me with intense hatred. I took out my phone, pretending to dial a number. Jiang Yu gritted his teeth, released Lin Weiwei, and stepped aside. "Sun Yan, you'll regret this. I will make you pay." I ignored him and kept walking forward, the curses and sobs behind me growing fainter and fainter. I hadn't taken a few steps when my phone suddenly popped up with a message. It was from my cousin who worked at the Education Bureau. I opened the message, my pupils narrowing slightly. Yet my steps remained steady. Jiang Yu's foolishness had only just begun. I found a milk tea shop by the street and sat down, opening the file my cousin had sent me. The file contained a top-secret notice about next year's college entrance exam reforms. All textbooks would be revised, question types completely overhauled, admission scores for repeat examinees raised by 30 points, and current year students would have exclusive bonus points. This notice wouldn't be officially announced until 3 days later. Only a few insiders knew about it at the moment. Just as I finished saving the file, Jiang Yu called again, this time from an unfamiliar number, likely borrowed from someone. I picked up the phone, my tone indifferent. "What is it? Sun Yan. Have you gone to the admissions office to withdraw your application yet? Don't force me to actually call off our engagement." Jiang Yu's voice was filled with impatience, still convinced I was just throwing a tantrum. "I haven't hung up yet. Is there anything else? If not, I'm going to hang up." "Are you out of your mind?" Jiang Yu roared on the other end of the line. "Let me tell you, even if the college entrance exam doesn't get reformed next year, I can still get into Tsinghua or Peking University. Don't think you're so great just because you have a recommendation letter." I leaned back in my chair, gazing out the window, my tone calm. "The reform notice will be released in 3 days. Next year's college entrance exam will undergo a complete overhaul, and past graduates will have no advantage at all." There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone, followed by Jiang Yu's scornful laugh. "Sun Yan, you don't even bother to think before you lie. Reforming the college entrance exam. Do you think you're the head of the Education Bureau? I think you're just scared and trying to intimidate me. Believe it or not, it was you who gave up the guaranteed admission, not me. You'll have to face the consequences yourself. I don't need your fake kindness. You just don't want to help Weiwei. So you made up this lie to trick me. Let me tell you, it won't work." Jiang Yu finished speaking and hung up the phone directly, clearly not believing a word of it. I put down my phone, took a sip of milk tea, and didn't bother with it anymore. Not long after, Lin Weiwei sent me a message, her tone full of grievance. "Sis, brother Jiang Yu said you lied to him, that there's no such thing as a college entrance exam reform. Can you please not do this? Can't we just get along well?" I immediately blocked Lin Weiwei and got up to leave the milk tea shop. Just as I reached the school gate, I saw Jiang Yu and Lin Weiwei standing in front of the bulletin board, talking to a few classmates. As I approached, I heard Jiang Yu bragging to the classmates, saying I was a coward, afraid he would get into a better school next year. So I deliberately made up lies about the reform. Lin Weiwei stood beside him, nodding in agreement. saying my sister was just too selfish. Several classmates looked at me with disdain, whispering among themselves. I didn't stop walking and walked straight past them. Jiang Yu saw me and immediately raised his voice. Some people, for the sake of their own future, will say anything no matter how absurd without fearing retribution. Lin Weiwei tugged at his arm and whispered, "Don't say that, sister." I stopped in my tracks and turned to look at them, my tone cold. 3 days from now, the announcement will be made. Don't regret it. Regret? I'll never regret it in my life. But you, Sun Yan. Wait until I get into Tsinghua or Peking University next year. It'll be too late to cry, Jiang Yu said, wrapping his arm around Lin Weiwei's shoulder with a loving expression. Vivi, don't worry. I will definitely help you get into university. And nothing can stop us. Lin Weiwei blushed, lowering her head with a shy expression. The classmates around me all praised Jiang Yu for being loyal and righteous, saying that I wasn't good enough for him. I watched them, said nothing more, and turned to leave. Back at the rental apartment, I organized all the documents and confirmed that the entire recommendation process was complete. My phone rang. Again, it was my homeroom teacher calling to persuade me not to hold a grudge against Jiang Yu and to reconsider. I thanked my homeroom teacher for their concern, hung up the phone directly, and turned it off. I clearly knew that in 3 days, Jiang Yu's world would completely collapse, and I wouldn't feel the slightest bit of sympathy. Early the next morning, as soon as I turned on my phone, I saw a post from Jiang Yu on his social media. The photo showed him and Lin Weiwei visiting a tutoring center for consultation, with the caption, "For someone worth it, everything is worth it." Below the post, there were countless comments praising him, and some even called me heartless. I scrolled through my social media feed, packed my things, and got ready to head to school to complete the graduation procedures. As soon as I arrived at the school, Jiang Yu blocked my way at the entrance of the teaching building. He held a cram school application form in his hand and tossed it in front of me. "I've already signed up for a repeat year. And Weiwei has too, Sun Yan. This is your last chance. Withdraw your documents and join us." I looked at the registration form, then raised my eyes to look at him, stubborn and delusional. After saying that, I walked past him and left. Jiang Yu shouted behind me, saying I would definitely beg him to come back. I didn't stop walking, with only one thought in my mind. 3 days later, we'll see who cries and who laughs. There was 1 day left until the announcement of the college entrance exam reform, and Jiang Yu's actions were becoming increasingly excessive. He posted the notice of our engagement being annulled on the school's confession wall, along with my photo. And the text was full of slanderous remarks about me. They said I was greedy for wealth and abandoned my top student fiancé, looked down on my failed college entrance exam friend, and did anything to secure a guaranteed admission spot. The comments under the confession wall exploded, and the entire school was cursing me. Walking around campus, I was met with strange stares everywhere. When I went to the cafeteria to eat, someone deliberately spilled food on me while shouting nasty words. I didn't confront them, just cleaned up and left the cafeteria. Just after leaving the cafeteria, Lin Weiwei stopped me, holding a tissue in her hand, pretending to help me wipe my clothes. "Sister, are you okay? It's all my fault. If I hadn't failed the exam, this wouldn't have happened. Please don't be angry with Brother Jiang Yu." I pushed her hand away, my tone icy. "Stop acting in front of me. It's disgusting to watch." Lin Weiwei's face turned pale, her eyes instantly reddening as she looked at me with a pitiful expression. "Sister, I really wasn't acting. I just wanted to make up with you." "Make up? Are you even worthy?" After I finished speaking, I walked straight ahead, while Lin Weiwei stood in place, tears streaming down her face. Jiang Yu happened to be walking from a distance and, seeing Lin Weiwei crying, immediately rushed over, glaring at me angrily. "Sun Yan, you're bullying Weiwei again. Do you even have a conscience?" "I didn't bully her. She came up to me on her own, asking for it." "You're still talking back." Jiang Yu reached out to push me, but I dodged to the side, and he missed. Students around us gathered quickly, pulling out their phones to take pictures. While muttering insults at me, Jiang Yu steadied himself, pointing at me and addressing everyone. Look at this. This is the person who abandoned her fiancé and best friend for her own future, heartless, immoral, and completely devoid of conscience. Lin Weiwei cried as she pulled at Jiang Yu, saying not to do this. But the more she pulled, the more it made it seem like I was the one bullying her. I looked at the crowd gathering around me without a trace of panic. Jiang Yu, giving up the guaranteed admission was your own choice. Deciding to stay back with Lin Weiwei for another year was also your own decision. Don't try to pin the blame on me. Pin the blame on you. If you hadn't refused to stay with me, would I have ended up like this? Sun Yan. You're selfish to the core. Selfish. Protecting my own future is selfish. You're the one who gave up your own future and now you're trying to drag me down with you. That's what I call selfish. As soon as I finished speaking, someone in the crowd whispered, saying it seemed to make sense. Jiang Yu's expression changed, and he immediately cut me off. Don't try to argue. Weiwei's family is poor, and this is her only chance. Is it wrong for me to help her? You just can't stand to see her succeed. Lin Weiwei nodded tearfully, saying she really wanted to go to college and that her family could barely afford the tuition for repeating a year. Everyone's gaze turned to me again, and the accusations started up once more. I looked at Lin Weiwei and suddenly smiled. Are you really unable to afford the tuition for repeating a year? Lin Weiwei was taken aback for a moment, then nodded, crying even harder. Jiang Yu immediately shielded her. Of course I can't afford it. Otherwise would I have given up my guaranteed admission to stay with her? Sun Yan. Don't act all sarcastic here. I didn't say anything more. Took out my phone, opened a file, and was about to speak when Jiang Yu suddenly snatched my phone and threw it to the ground. The phone screen shattered instantly, turning black and never turning on again. Jiang Yu looked at me with a smug expression. Let's see how you keep pretending after all that nonsense you've been spouting. Lin Weiwei glanced at the shattered phone. A faint, almost imperceptible smile curling at the corner of her lips before she quickly resumed her look of grievance. I stared at the broken phone on the floor, feeling no regret at all, then lifted my gaze to meet Jiang Yu's. You will pay for what you have done. I pay the price. Looks like you're out of ideas. Jiang Yu finished speaking, embraced Lin Weiwei, and turned to leave. While the crowd gradually dispersed, I crouched down, picked up the shattered phone, and put it in my bag. Tomorrow, the reform notice will be announced, and Lin Weiwei's lie will no longer be hidden. I turned and walked out of the school, planning to buy a new phone and transfer the backup data. Just as I reached the school gate, I received a message from my cousin, saying the reform notice would be released an hour earlier than scheduled tomorrow. I replied received and quickened my pace. Jiang Yu and Lin Weiwei's good days are over. After buying my new phone and backing up my data, I saw Jiang Yu post again on his social media his transfer record for paying Lin Weiwei's tuition for repeating a year, with the caption, "I'll do my best to protect you completely." I stared at the post, let out a cold laugh, and slipped my phone into my pocket. Tonight, someone is bound to lose sleep, and I just need to wait for tomorrow to see how this farce ends. Early in the morning, the Education Bureau's official website released the college entrance exam reform notice on time, pinned and bolded, causing a nationwide uproar. Complete textbook changes, restructured question formats, skyrocketing admission scores for past examinees, and special bonus points for current year candidates. Each detail hit like a bomb, leaving people completely unprepared. I had just seen the notice when the class group chat exploded, everyone discussing the reform, filled with lamentations. Jiang Yu's call came through immediately, his voice filled with panic, completely devoid of his earlier confidence. Sun Yan. Is this reform notice real? You knew about it all along, didn't you? Why didn't you tell me sooner? I told you, but you didn't believe me. Is that my fault? My tone was calm, and as I listened to his voice breaking down on the other end of the line, I felt not the slightest ripple of emotion. How can I trust you? You deliberately hid it from me, just to watch me make a fool of myself. Jiang Yu roared, his tone filled with venom. Think whatever you want, Now you see the consequences. I don't care. You have to go to the admissions office and withdraw your application. Then repeat the year with me. Or I won't let this go. He was still trying to guilt-trip her. But he had lost his earlier confidence, leaving only panic. Jiang Yu, you're dreaming. I immediately hung up the phone, blocked the number, and as soon as I put my phone down, I saw Jiang Yu running frantically toward the tutoring center, with Lin Weiwei following behind. Her face deathly pale. I followed them to the entrance of the tutoring center, where I heard Jiang Yu shouting loudly at the teacher, "Why didn't you tell me about the reform? I want my tuition back. I'm not retaking the year." The teacher looked helpless and showed him the notice. The notice was just issued, and we only found out now. Once the registration fee is paid, it cannot be refunded. Besides, repeating a year won't give you any advantage at this point. Jiang Yu slumped to the ground, his eyes vacant, muttering impossible over and over again. Lin Weiwei stood nearby, her face flustered, her eyes darting around, unable to look at Jiang Yu. The surrounding retake students were all talking, saying Jiang Yu was too foolish, giving up his guaranteed admission just to retake the exam. And now he was completely ruined. Jiang Yu suddenly stood up, grabbed Lin Weiwei's arm, and shook her violently. "Did you know about this all along? Did you deliberately trick me into giving up my guaranteed admission?" Lin Weiwei was so frightened that her whole body trembled, shaking her head frantically. I really don't know. Brother Jiang Yu, please don't be like this. I'm scared. You're lying. You must have known all along." Jiang Yu looked as if he had gone mad, staring intently at Lin Weiwei, wishing he could devour her. More and more people gathered around, watching the spectacle and pointing at the two of them. I stood outside the crowd, coldly watching the farce unfold, not stepping forward. Jiang Yu let go of Lin Weiwei, turned, saw me, and immediately rushed over, grabbing my arm. "Sun Yan, help me. Go talk to the admissions office and get my guaranteed admission spot back. I won't retake the year. I'll be good with you. Let's not break off our engagement." His tone was humble, completely devoid of the arrogance and righteousness he had shown earlier. I shook off his hand, my tone cold. "Spot for direct admission won't wait forever. Jiang Yu, this is the path you chose yourself. I was wrong. I really was wrong. Sun Yan, forgive me. I'll never study again with Lin Weiwei. I'll cut ties with her. Please help me." As he spoke, he was about to kneel before me, and the people around us let out a collective gasp. I sidestepped, looking at him, and spoke slowly, word by word. "It's too late." Jiang Yu collapsed onto the ground, completely broken, and began to cry loudly, muttering words of regret. Lin Weiwei looked at Jiang Yu's state, a flicker of disgust passing through her eyes. She quietly stepped back, wanting to slip away unnoticed. I watched her movements, a cold smile curling at the corner of my mouth. Everyone thought this was the biggest twist, believing Jiang Yu had already suffered enough. I took out my phone, opened the file I had prepared long ago, walked to the center of the crowd, and turned the screen toward everyone. On the screen were Lin Weiwei's admission letter from a private university abroad and the successful visa application records, issued a month ago. I looked at Lin Weiwei, whose face instantly turned deathly pale, and spoke in a clear voice that echoed throughout the cram school. She never needed to repeat the year. She had already received an admission letter from a foreign university. She tricked you into giving up your guaranteed admission just because she thought you were foolish. The room fell silent instantly, with everyone's gaze fixed on Lin Weiwei, their eyes filled with shock and disdain. Jiang Yu stopped crying and abruptly looked up at Lin Weiwei, her eyes filled with disbelief. "Is what she said true? You got the acceptance letter a long time ago. You lied to me." Lin Weiwei trembled all over, her face as pale as paper, shaking her head repeatedly, her words stumbling. "No, brother Jiang Yu, this is fake. She photoshopped it. She's deliberately framing me." I handed my phone to the classmate next to me, asking him to pass it around for everyone to see. The admission letter number can be checked, and the visa records can also be verified. Whether it's photoshopped or not will be clear once you check. The classmate took the phone, looked at it carefully, then looked up and nodded to everyone. It's real. The number matches. And the visa is genuine too. The onlookers instantly erupted into an uproar, with discussions rising and falling, all filled with criticism of Lin Weiwei. So she was faking it all along. How disgusting. Tricking people into giving up their guaranteed admission. Jiang Yu treated her so well. And yet she's so ungrateful. Sun Yan must have known all along. No wonder she never gave inch, must have seen through this person. Jiang Yu staggered to his feet, walked to Lin Weiwei. His eyes filled with hatred. Why did you lie to me? I've been so good to you. I gave up my guaranteed admission to Tsinghua and Peking University to stay with you for a retake. Is this how you repay me? Lin Weiwei looked into Jiang Yu's fierce eyes and could no longer pretend to be weak. She pushed him away sharply. It's your own fault for being stupid. I didn't force you to give up your admission. You were the one who wanted to feel sorry for yourself. What does that have to do with me? She tore off her mask, her tone sharp and bitter, completely unlike her previous fragile demeanor. I've already received the acceptance letter from a foreign university ages ago. Who wants to retake the entrance exams with you? If it weren't for the fact that you're somewhat useful, I wouldn't even bother putting on this act with you. Jiang Yu was pushed back a few steps, staring intently at Lin Weiwei, his chest heaving violently. You used me. Of course. Did you really think I was interested in you? If it weren't for you being a top student with a guaranteed admission spot, I wouldn't have even looked your way. After finishing her words, Lin Weiwei turned to leave, but Jiang Yu grabbed her arm, preventing her from going. You better make it clear, were you lying to me from the very beginning? So what if it is? Lin Weiwei forcefully shook him off. You've lost your guaranteed admission, and repeating a year won't lead anywhere. You're useless to me now. So don't stand in my way. The onlookers watched the heated argument unfold, pulling out their phones to take pictures as the murmurs grew louder. Jiang Yu stood in place, his face ashen, his eyes vacant, as if his soul had been drained from him. The person he had given everything to protect had been using him from start to finish. His deep affection and noble intentions had become a laughingstock for everyone. Watching Jiang Yu's desolate and dejected state, I felt not a shred of sympathy and turned to leave. Suddenly, Jiang Yu rushed over, blocking my path, his tone humble and pleading. Sun Yan, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Give me another chance. Let's start over. Okay. No. My tone was firm, without the slightest hesitation. You and I ended long ago the moment you gave up your guaranteed admission and chose to emotionally manipulate me. It was over. I will never do this again. I will study hard. And next year I will definitely get into university. I will treat you well. Please don't leave me. He grabbed my arm, refusing to let go, his eyes filled with pleading. I shook off his hand, my tone icy. You have no chance left. Jiang Yu, you destroyed your own future with your own hands, and no one can save you. I finished speaking, sidestepped him, and walked straight out of the tutoring center, with Jiang Yu's desperate cries and Lin Weiwei's curses echoing behind me. Walking onto the street, sunlight bathed my body. I took out my phone and deleted all contact information related to Jiang Yu and Lin Weiwei. A message popped up on my phone sent by the Tsinghua Peking admissions office, asking me to prepare materials for enrollment. I replied received, and walked briskly toward my rental apartment. The farce between Jiang Yu and Lin Weiwei wasn't over yet. As I just reached the building of my rental apartment, I saw Jiang Yu's parents and my own parents standing at the entrance, waiting for me. When my parents saw me, they immediately hurried over. My mother took my hand, her voice filled with regret. Nian Nian, it was Mom's fault. Mom shouldn't have pressured you, shouldn't have scolded you. Don't be angry with Mom. Jiang Yu's mother stood aside, her face awkward, no longer showing her previous sharpness, smiling apologetically at me. Suni, it was Auntie's fault before. I spoke too harshly. Don't take it to heart. Jiang Yu knows he was wrong, so please forgive him this time. Jiang Yu's father also spoke, his tone carrying a plea. Yeah. Sun Yan. Jiang Yu is so regretful he's practically turning green with remorse. Just help him talk to the admissions office and see if they can restore his recommendation spot. Our whole family will be so grateful to you. I looked at them. My tone flat. The admissions office's regulations are not something I can change. Once a guaranteed admission spot is given up, it can never be restored. I can't help with this. Jiang Yu's mother's expression changed. She wanted to put on a show of displeasure again. But upon seeing my indifferent gaze, she forced herself to hold it back. What should we do then? Jiang Yu's life will be ruined. Sun Yan, can you bear to see him like this? It's his own choice. It has nothing to do with me. I warned him long ago, but he wouldn't listen. My dad sighed and patted me on the shoulder. Nian Nian. After all, you've been together for so many years. If you can help, at least give him a hand. Dad, if I help him, who will help me? He ruined my future back then. Why didn't you say he should help me instead? I said one sentence, leaving my dad speechless. Jiang Yu's mother wanted to say something else, but I cut her off directly. If you have nothing else to do, just go home. Don't bother me here. I still need to prepare for school enrollment. After I finished speaking, I turned and headed upstairs. My mom grabbed my arm, refusing to let go. Nian Nian. Don't be like this. Jiang Yu really knows he was wrong. He's too afraid to even leave the house now. He's been laughed at so much. That's what he deserved. I shook off my mother's hand, went straight upstairs, opened the door, closed it directly, and shut their voices out. The sounds of persuasion and pleading outside the door persisted for a long time before gradually fading away. I had just sat down when my phone rang. It was the tutoring center teacher. Miss Sun Yan. Jiang Yu is causing a scene at the tutoring class, demanding to drop out and even smashing our belongings. Can you come over and talk some sense into him? I have nothing to do with him. I can't persuade him. If he's broken things, you should just call the police. After saying that, I hung up and turned off my phone's ringer. Not long after, I heard the sound of sirens downstairs. The tutoring center must have called the police. I walked to the window and looked down, only to see Jiang Yu being taken away by the police. Lin Weiwei had long since disappeared without a trace, while Jiang Yu's parents followed behind the officers, wailing and crying. Watching this scene, I felt no sympathy at all. I closed the curtains and began organizing my enrollment materials. Just as I was halfway through, a message popped up on my phone. It was from the school's confession wall. Someone had posted Lin Weiwei's admission letter and the news of Jiang Yu's arrest, with the caption, "Self-indulgent affection ultimately becomes a joke." The comments below were all praising me for being clear-minded, and cursing Jiang Yu and Lin Weiwei for getting what they deserved. The tide had completely turned. I swiped through the messages and ignored them, focusing on my own affairs. That evening, as soon as I finished eating, I heard a knock at the door. Opening it, I saw Jiang Yu. His face was haggard, his hair disheveled, and dust covered his clothes. He looked at me, his eyes filled with despair. Sun Yan. I was reprimanded and educated by the police. The tutoring center is demanding compensation for the losses, and my parents have abandoned me. I have nothing left now. I leaned against the doorframe, looking at him. You brought this upon yourself. I truly know I was wrong. Can you take me in? Can you help me? I'll listen to you in everything from now on. As he spoke, he tried to enter the room, but I reached out and blocked the door. Between us, there's nothing left to say. Just go, and don't come looking for me again. Sun Yan, don't be so heartless. Jiang Yu roared, reaching out to grab me. But I immediately slammed the door shut and locked it. Outside the door came the sound of his pounding and crying. I ignored it, put on my headphones, and started listening to the orientation guide. The pounding continued for a long time before finally fading away. I took off my headphones, walked to the door, and heard the sound of his footsteps as he left. There was not a ripple of emotion in my heart. His life was ruined by his own self-indulgence and foolishness. It had nothing to do with me. I picked up my phone and replied to the admissions office of Tsinghua and Peking University, confirming my enrollment date. Outside the window, the night grew deeper. and my future looked bright. But for Jiang Yu, the nightmare was just beginning. I went to school early to complete the withdrawal procedures, and as soon as I entered the teaching building, Jiang Yu cornered me in the hallway. His eyes were bloodshot, his face sallow, and his clothes were wrinkled, completely lacking the usual sharpness of a top student. Sun Yen, come with me to the tutoring class. Help me plead with the teacher not to expel me. I want to retake the year. He reached out and grabbed my arm, his grip weak but stubbornly persistent. I sidestepped, not stopping my steps. You broke the tutoring center's stuff, so you deserve to be expelled. It has nothing to do with me. It was a moment of impulse. Jiang Yu followed behind me, his voice hoarse. I know I was wrong. If you don't help me, I won't be able to continue my studies. Passing students turned their heads, took out their phones to secretly snap photos, and whispered to each other while looking at the two of us. Those who once called me heartless are now all pointing fingers at Jiang Yu, their eyes filled with mockery. This is that top student who gave up his guaranteed admission. Now he's become a stray dog. Serves him right. Who told him to be so love-struck and let himself be played like a fool? Thankfully Sun Yen is clear-headed and didn't go crazy with him. Otherwise she'd be the one suffering now. Jiang Yu overheard these words, his face turning pale and then flushed. He paused for a moment before quickly catching up to me. Sun Yen, don't abandon me. You're all I have. I walked to the door of the academic affairs office, stopped, and turned to look at him. From the moment you chose to give up the guaranteed admission, you should have foreseen this day. No one will pay for your foolishness. I pushed the door open and entered the academic affairs office. The teacher saw me, immediately stood up with a smile, and handed over the completed school leaving certificate. Sun Yen, you're still the clear-headed one. When you go to Tsinghua or Peking University in the future, make the most of it. Your prospects are limitless. Thank you, teacher. I took the certificate and was about to leave when Jiang Yu rushed in, falling to his knees with a thud in front of the teacher in the academic affairs office. Teacher, please help me plead my case. Let me return to the cram school to repeat the year. I promise I won't cause any more trouble in the future. The teacher frowned and took a step back, his tone distant. Jiang Yu, it's not that we don't want to help you. It's that you've made too much of a scene. The tutoring center has clearly refused to accept you. And with the college entrance exam reforms next year, retaking the year won't make any sense. It does make sense. I can get in. I used to be the top scorer. I definitely can do it. Jiang Yu roared, refusing to get up, his knees pressed tightly against the ground. The academic affairs director walked over, his face cold as he spoke. Jiang Yu, get up first. The school can't help you either. You'd better find another way out. I won't. If you won't help me, I won't get up. He acted like a hooligan, refusing to move while lying on the ground. The teachers in the office all showed looks of disdain. I looked at him in this state and found it utterly ridiculous. Taking my school leaving certificate, I walked straight out of the office. Seeing this, Jiang Yu immediately scrambled to his feet and chased after me, shouting loudly in the hallway. Sun Yen, if you don't help me, I'll go cause a scene at the gates of Tsinghua and Peking University, and you won't be able to study in peace either. I paused in my steps, turned to look at him, my gaze icy cold. You dare to cause trouble, and I'll call the police, accuse you of harassment, and ruin your reputation completely. Jiang Yu was stunned by my gaze, standing frozen in place, too afraid to move forward. I turned and went downstairs. As soon as I stepped out of the teaching building, I received a message from the tutoring class teacher, saying that Jiang Yu had not only been expelled but also had to pay a compensation of 5,000 yuan for damages. I deleted the message, hailed a taxi, and headed to the mall to buy things needed for school. Halfway through shopping, my phone rang. And it was Jiang Yu's parents calling. I blocked them directly. His mess is his own to clean up. It has nothing to do with me anymore. As I walked out of the mall carrying my shopping bags, I saw Jiang Yu squatting at the entrance, his eyes fixed on me like a desperate man. When he saw me, he immediately stood up and rushed toward me. Jiang Yu rushed in front of me, snatched the shopping bag from my hand, and slammed it hard on the ground. Things scattered all over the floor. The packaging bags all torn. Sun Yen. What right do you have to live so well? Why do I have nothing at all? He screamed hysterically, his eyes bloodshot, acting like a madman. The surrounding passers-by gathered around, pointing at us and taking out their phones to take pictures. I crouched down, slowly picking up the things on the ground, my tone calm. Because I didn't make the foolish mistake of giving up my future like you did. It's your fault. If you had stayed with me to repeat the year back then, I wouldn't be like this. He raised his foot, intending to kick something on the ground, but I suddenly stood up and stared straight at him. Try moving again, and I'll call the police right now. I took out my phone and pressed the dial button. Jiang Yu looked at me, his steps frozen in place. Too afraid to move. You did this on purpose. You knew all along that Lin Weiwei was lying to me. Just wanted to see me make a fool of myself. It's your own stupidity. Your poor judgment of character. You can't blame anyone else. After picking up my things, I grabbed the bag, stepped around him, and walked away. Jiang Yu followed behind me, cursing incessantly, his voice growing louder and drawing more onlookers. Sun Yen, you heartless creature, you'll come to a bad end. I won't let you off. I walked to the roadside, hailed a taxi, and pulled open the door to get in. Jiang Yu rushed over, grabbed the car door, and wouldn't let me close it. Don't go. Make things clear. You have to help me. The taxi driver frowned and spoke up to shoo him away. Young man, if you keep this up, I'm calling the police. Don't interfere with my business. I'm talking to my girlfriend. It's none of your business. Jiang Yu was still stubbornly arguing, and the passers-by couldn't stand it anymore, all speaking up to criticize him. She's already made it clear she has nothing to do with you, yet you're still clinging on. How pathetic. You were the one who gave up the guaranteed admission. And now you're blaming others. How ridiculous. Hurry up and let go of the girl. Don't be shameless. The crowd's accusations made Jiang Yu's face flush red, and his grip loosened slightly. Seizing the opportunity, I slammed the car door shut and told the driver to go. The car started, and through the rearview mirror, I saw Jiang Yu standing in place, shouting at the car, then finally crouching on the ground, hugging his head and sobbing. I turned my gaze away, leaning back in the seat, completely unmoved. Back at the rental apartment, I tidied up my things. As soon as I sat down, I received a message from a classmate, a screenshot of Jiang Yu going crazy in the class group chat. He was cursing me, cursing Lin Weiwei, cursing everyone who looked down on him, and was eventually kicked out of the group chat by the class monitor. I swiped away the screenshot and started organizing the admission guides for Peking University and Tsinghua University, no longer paying attention to Jiang Yu's drama. In the evening, I ordered takeout. Just after finishing my meal, I heard the sound of things being smashed outside the door, along with Jiang Yu's cries. He had actually found his way to the downstairs of my rented apartment and was shouting in the hallway, smashing the fire hydrant door. Neighbors opened their doors one after another to scold him, but he paid no attention and continued to act crazy. I walked to the door, took out my phone, and called the police directly, reporting that someone was maliciously harassing and damaging public facilities. After hanging up, I leaned against the door, listening to the sounds outside, my expression cold and indifferent. Not long after, the sound of sirens filled the air, and the police came upstairs to take Jiang Yu away. The hallway finally fell silent. Just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, my phone popped up with a message from an unknown number. It was from Lin Weiwei. Sun Yen, don't think you've won. Jiang Yu becoming like this has something to do with you too. You won't get away with it. I looked at the message, let out a cold laugh, and immediately blocked the number. Lin Weiwei ran off abroad herself, yet still trying to stir up trouble. Absolutely ridiculous. I turned off my phone, lay down on the bed, and prepared to get a good night's sleep, ready to welcome a new beginning. I had just fallen asleep when I was awakened by frantic knocking at the door, followed by Jiang Yu's mother's heart-wrenching cries outside. I opened the door, and Jiang Yu's mother immediately lunged forward, trying to grab my clothes. But I sidestepped and dodged. She missed and fell to the ground, sitting in the hallway wailing and screaming. Sun Yen. You're so heartless. Jiang Yu was taken away by the police and detained. And you don't even Karido, you still have a conscience. I leaned against the doorframe, looking at her with a cold tone. He was properly detained for malicious harassment and damaging public property. I have no obligation to take care of him. He's your fiancé. How can you be so heartless? The engagement was called off long ago. We have nothing to do with each other. Jiang Yu's father then went upstairs, his face dark, looking at me without the previous plea. Only resentment remained. Sun Yen. The reason Jiang Yu has ended up in this state today is entirely because of you. If you had agreed to accompany him through his repeat year back then, would he have turned out like this? It was his own choice to give up the recommendation. And he's the one trying to guilt trip me. His has nothing to do with me. You still have the nerve to talk back. Jiang Yu's father stepped forward, his eyes fierce. I'm telling you, if anything happens to Jiang Yu, I won't let you off. If you keep causing trouble here, I'll call the police again and take all of you away. I spoke firmly, without the slightest compromise. Neighbors opened their doors to watch the commotion, pointing at Jiang Yu's parents and criticizing them for failing to raise their child properly and for being unreasonable. Jiang Yu's mother sat on the ground, wailing and crying, accusing me of bullying and of being ungrateful. Jiang Yu treated you so well before, always thinking of you. And now that you've made it big, you're abandoning him. You'll get your comeuppance. He treats me well, so he can ruin my future, so he can morally blackmail me. There's no such in the world. After I finished speaking, I ignored them and directly closed the door, locking it from the inside. The crying and cursing outside continued for a long time, gradually calming down only after the property management came up to intervene. I walked to the window and watched the back of Jiang Yu's parents as they left in anger downstairs, my gaze cold and indifferent. The next morning, I went to the police station to submit the repair receipt for the phone that Jiang Yu had broken, as evidence of his property damage. The officer told me that Jiang Yu had been detained for 5 days and would also have to compensate the tutoring center and the property management, totaling 8,000 yuan. I walked out of the police station, the sunlight blinding, my heart suddenly light and clear. Just as I arrived at the bus stop, I saw Lin Weiwei's social media post, geotagged at a foreign university campus, showing off a designer bag and coffee, with the caption saying goodbye to toxic people and drama, starting a new life. Below were comments from her friends, praising her for being amazing and for playing Jiang Yu like a fool. I took a screenshot and saved it, then ignored it. 5 days later, Jiang Yu was released. I received word that he had nowhere to go. Tutoring center wouldn't take him. His family refused to give him any more money, and he could only take on odd jobs. He found a job at the construction site, moving bricks every day, exhausted and covered in dust, completely unrecognizable from his former self as an academic top student. A classmate ran into him by chance, took a photo, and sent it to me. In the photo, he was wearing tattered clothes, drenched in sweat, with a vacant look in his eyes. Looking at the photo, I felt no pity at all. I deleted it and focused on preparing for my enrollment. The admission notice from Tsinghua and Peking University arrived, the red envelope standing out brightly. I opened it, read the contents, and finally a smile appeared on my lips. I held the admission letter, took a photo, and posted it on my social media circle, without any caption, just sharing this honor that belonged to me. My social media circle instantly exploded with reactions. Relatives, friends, teachers, and classmates all sent likes and blessings. Even those who had previously insulted me came forward to apologize. I didn't reply to anyone. I put down my phone and began packing my luggage. Halfway through packing, the door knocked again. I opened it, and Jiang Yu stood at the doorway, covered in dirt, clutching a wad of coins in his hand. Jiang Yu stood at the door, covered in dust and sweat, his hair disheveled, his gaze humble. Sun Yen, this is the 2,000 I've saved. Take it for now, and I'll pay you back the rest slowly. Can you help me find a place to retake the exam? Please. He held out the money, his hands trembling uncontrollably. I looked at the crumpled stack of bills, but didn't take them. My tone distant. I can't help you. You should go. I beg you. I can't not study. If I don't study, my life will be ruined. As he spoke, tears fell, mixing with the dust on his face and leaving 2 dark streaks. I tried to warn you back then, but you wouldn't listen. Now it's too late for regrets. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Just have mercy on me and help me. He tried to enter the house, but I reached out and blocked the door, not letting him in. I don't pity you. You brought this on yourself. Don't come to me again. Sun Yen. Jiang Yu raised his voice with a hint of desperation. Are you really going to be this heartless? We grew up together, don't you remember any of our past? Out of affection, I should ruin my own life for you. Jiang Yu, you're too selfish. After I finished speaking, I closed the door directly. Jiang Yu reached out to block it, his fingers pressing so hard they turned white. I'm not leaving. If you won't help me, I'll just keep waiting here. Suit yourself. I slammed the door shut with force, and he winced in pain as he pulled his hand back. I immediately locked the door from the inside and ignored him. Outside the door, his knocking and pleading could be heard. I put on my headphones, listened to music, and packed my luggage, letting him make a scene. The knocking continued for the entire afternoon, only stopping completely when it grew dark. I took off my headphones, walked to the door, and looked through the peephole. Jiang Yu was crouched in the corner of the hallway, hugging his knees, motionless. I ignored him, washed up, and went straight to bed. Early the next morning, I opened the door, and Jiang Yu was still there, his eyes bloodshot, staring at me with a hoarse voice. Sun Yen, what will it take for you to help me? I don't want anything. Leave now, or I'll call the police. I carried my luggage, ready to head to the station, and walked downstairs, with Jiang Yu following closely behind me. Not a step away. You're going to Tsinghua and Peking University, right? You're leaving this city. You don't care about me anymore. I ignored him and went straight downstairs, taking a taxi to the station. Jiang Yu ran after them, clutching the car door and refusing to let go. Sun Yen, take me with you. I'll go work over there. I won't bother you. I just want to be close to you. The driver, impatient, started the car abruptly, leaving Jiang Yu on the side of the road, falling to the ground. I watched from the rearview mirror as he got up, shouting my name toward the car, his voice growing fainter and fainter. The car drove away from the neighborhood, and I finally managed to completely escape this miserable man. At the station, I checked in and boarded the train, watching the familiar city gradually fade away outside the window, feeling not the slightest trace of nostalgia. As the train started moving, I took out the admission letter and flipped through it again, my heart filled with anticipation for the future. Just as I settled in, my phone popped up with a message from a classmate, saying that Jiang Yu had stayed overnight downstairs at my rental apartment, was kicked out by the property management, and was now causing a scene at my home, arguing loudly with my parents. I read the message and sent a text to my parents, telling them to leave Jiang Yu alone and to call the police directly. My parents replied that they had already called the police, and Jiang Yu had been driven away by them. They also apologized to me, saying they shouldn't have pressured me in the past. I replied, "It's fine." Then put down my phone, leaned back in my chair, and closed my eyes to rest. I knew Jiang Yu wouldn't give up easily. His harassment wasn't over yet, but I wasn't afraid anymore. My life would never again be controlled by him. The train headed north, carrying me toward my future, while Jiang Yu remained forever in that past filled with foolishness and regret. I arrived at the Tsinghua University campus, completed the enrollment procedures, and moved into the dormitory. My new roommates were all friendly, and we got along very well. The campus atmosphere was excellent, with diligent students everywhere. I quickly adapted to life here, attending classes and spending time in the library every day, leading a fulfilling and joyful life. Just a few days later, Jiang Yu unexpectedly showed up at the school. He stood at the campus gate, holding a crumpled piece of paper with my dormitory address written on it. He saw me and immediately rushed over, trying to grab my hand. Sun Yen. I finally found you. Please help me find a job at the school. I'll do your laundry and cook for you. And I won't disturb your studies. I dodged his hand. And the surrounding classmates looked over, their eyes filled with curiosity. How did you find this place? Who told you to come here? I asked your classmates. I just wanted to follow you. I don't want to stay in my hometown anymore. They all laugh at me. His tone was aggrieved, completely lacking the arrogance he had shown earlier. Now reduced to a pitiful appearance. You're not welcome here. Leave immediately, or I'll call the school security. I'm not leaving. I came all this way with so much effort. I can't leave. He stood still, refusing to move. Drawing more classmates to gather around, my roommate walked over, took my hand, and whispered, asking who he was. A person of no importance. Don't mind him. After I said that, I pulled my roommate toward the dormitory, while Jiang Yu followed behind, muttering continuously, Sun Yen, don't make me leave. I really need this job. I won't cause any trouble anymore. I'll be good. The school security guard noticed the commotion and walked over to inquire about the situation. I pointed at Jiang Yu and said to the security guard, he's harassing me and has entered the campus without permission. Please ask him to leave. The security guard immediately sped forward, blocking Jiang Yu and telling him to leave the campus. I'm not leaving. She's my girlfriend, of course I have the right to come find her. Jiang Yu struggled, refusing to go, so the security guard grabbed him and dragged him toward the school gate. As he was being pulled along, he shouted my name, his voice desperate and piercing, drawing the attention of the entire campus. I didn't look back, just pulled my roommate straight into the dorm, closed the door, and blocked out the outside noise. My roommate asked me what was going on, and I gave a brief explanation. My roommate felt sorry for me and said he had gone too far. I smiled but said nothing more. I knew in my heart this was the last time he would bother me. In the afternoon, the school security office called me, saying Jiang Yu had been kicked out of campus, was making a scene at the gate, and had been detained again. Moreover, his construction site back home had also fired him, completely cutting off his source of income. I thanked the security office, hung up the phone, and finally felt at ease. Not long after, I received a text message from Jiang Yu's parents, saying they could no longer control Jiang Yu and had cut ties with him, telling me to leave him alone from now on. I deleted the message without replying. From then on, Jiang Yu completely disappeared from my life and never appeared again. I focused wholeheartedly on my studies, achieved excellent grades, won the school scholarship, and joined clubs that interested me, making many outstanding friends. Life was getting better and better. I completely broke free from my past troubles and became the person I wanted to be. Half a year later, after the final exams ended, I ranked in the top 3 of my department and prepared to go home for the holiday. While packing my bags, my phone popped up with a message from a classmate back home, updating me on Jiang Yu's recent situation. I opened the message, my gaze calm, without the slightest ripple. A classmate sent a message saying that after being disowned by his parents, Jiang Yu had no job and no place to live, forced to wander the streets of his hometown, surviving by scavenging trash. He completely broke down, dazed and disoriented, telling people he was a top student who should have gone to Tsinghua or Peking University, blaming everyone else for ruining him. Occasionally, when someone mentioned me, he would scream like a madman, claiming I had ruined his life and made him the laughingstock of the neighborhood. As for Lin Weiwei, she didn't fare well abroad. Coming from an ordinary family, she couldn't afford the high tuition and living expenses. Before long, she was expelled from school, secretly returned to China, didn't dare go back to her hometown, and ended up doing odd jobs elsewhere, living a tight and miserable life. She wanted to find Jiang Yu, only to find that he had already fallen into destitution on the streets. And in the end, she could only hide herself, never daring to show up again. I looked at the message without the slightest emotional reaction, put away my phone, and walked out of the dormitory carrying my luggage. My roommate saw me off at the school gate, said goodbye to me, and made plans to meet again when school starts. I boarded the train home, gazing at the scenery outside the window, feeling a sense of relief in my heart. Back in my hometown, I didn't go to see Jiangyu, nor did I inquire about any more news about him. I simply stayed by my parents' side, quietly celebrating the new year. During the New Year period, relatives and friends came to visit, all praising me for being accomplished, clear-minded, and independent. No one mentioned Jiang Yu or Lin Weiwei again. My parents looked at me with eyes full of pride. They never brought up the previous engagement again. Nor did they ever pressure me into doing anything I didn't want to do. On the 5th day of the Lunar New Year, I went out to buy something and ran into Jiang Yu on the street. He was dressed in tattered clothes, with long and dirty hair, holding a plastic bottle in his hand. Squatting by the trash can picking through garbage. He saw me. His eyes faltered for a moment. Then he lowered his head, not daring to look at me, desperately hiding behind the trash can as if afraid I would recognize him. I didn't stop, didn't pause in the slightest, and walked straight past him as if he were a stranger. His downfall, his regret, none of it has anything to do with me. All of this is the path he chose himself, his self-indulgent emotions, his moral coercion, his foolish stubbornness destroying his future with his own hands. As for me, I have always upheld my own principles, refusing to be held hostage by anyone or swept away by emotions. I protected my life and welcomed the light that belongs to me. When I got home, I pushed Jiang Yu's matters out of my mind and began planning my studies for the new semester, preparing to take professional certification exams and striving for better opportunities. I am fully aware that my life has just begun, with endless possibilities ahead. I will stand at greater heights and behold broader horizons. Those rotten people and trivial matters are ultimately just a speck of dust on my life's journey, blown away by the wind. Before the start of the semester, I packed my luggage and boarded the train to Tsinghua and Peking University once again. As the train started moving, I watched my hometown gradually fade into the distance outside the window, a composed smile curling at the corner of my lips. From now on, with mountains high and roads long, I will live only for myself, clear-minded and independent, with a bright future ahead. No one will ever be able to hold my life hostage again, and no one will ever be able to block my path. My future is radiant and unstoppable.